Hey, Moyo Nation. We Moyo everywhere we go. I want you to know that I'm convinced that each one of us has incredible potential. I've told you that before. I believe that. But I believe that the reason sometimes we don't reach that potential, that we leave some of that potential on the table, is that there's this chasm or this gap between I know and I do. Let me explain that. There are times in our lives when we know what it takes to be great. We know what it takes to do the things we aspire to do. But at the same time, we don't do those. We don't do what we know. So it's like we're standing on this cliff, and in front of us is this huge chasm, and we're standing on the side that says, I know, but way across this chasm is I do. And that distance between I know and I do is the difference between greatness and just being our normal self. I want to be great. I want to bridge that chasm. I don't want to be average. Let me give you an example. You may be a student in class. We've all been students at one point or another. And you might say, I really want to make an A in this class. And in your mind, you know what it takes. You know exactly what it takes. It takes studying, relentless hard work, memorizing, understanding, looking for help with tutors or people who know it well. You know that's what it takes to make an A. But then you don't do it. I've been there myself. You don't do it. So when the test comes and you don't make that A, the reason you don't is that gap between I know what to do and what I actually do. Same thing plays out in relationships. Maybe there's someone in your life who you've got a conflict with. Maybe it was something you said at some point, or you did, or something they said. And you really want to reconcile that conflict. And you know exactly what it takes. It takes a phone call, meeting up, apologizing, moving beyond, humility, those actions. But all too often, our ego, our pride keep us from that. They make this giant chasm between I know what to do and what you actually do. Maybe it's at work. I really want that promotion. I really want a raise. And I know what it takes to do that. I need to work harder. I need to work smarter. I need to focus my efforts. But then what do you actually do? Do you spend time on social media when you should be working? Do you give your work half of your attention? There's this chasm between I know and I do. And each one of us has to ask ourselves, what is the chasm? How wide is the chasm between I know and I do? And when we start to bridge that chasm and narrow that distance, we find our potential. We find our ability to be what God made us to be. So here's your self-talk for the day. This is what I want you to tell yourself every morning when you wake up. You say to yourself, look in the mirror and say to yourself, I will do what I know so that I can see where I can go. Let me say it again. I will do what I know so that I can see where I can go. When you do what you know it takes, then you'll succeed and you'll see where that takes you. And that's what it means to Moyo everywhere we go. So do what you know, and you will see where you can go.